Welcome to another episode of the Prep Radio Podcast. Tom Blackman with Paul Scarborough. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And do you want to do your plug for your new company that you formed? Let's do that right at the start while we've still got people listening.
Right. Okay. I don't know if anybody knows, but that listen to this, but I've started a new venture. I've got a clothing brand. I built it from nothing to launch the stall this weekend just gone. Excuse me. And it's called Skulls and Stuff. And the first sort of designs are these. For those that are watching this, you'll be able to see this. So it's a high quality, unique design. This is I've tied up with a young artist in Plymouth, and he's done these designs, and they are totally unique. So yeah, give me a follow on Instagram, which is skulls_and_stuff_clothing. And my website is skullsandstuff, all one word, .co.uk. So that's enough of that. But yeah, give us a follow, buy something.
Excellent. You know? So people are still listening after that blatant plug. But most other podcasts do some sort of blatant plug of something right at the beginning. So it's nice that we've sold out and completely done the same as them.
For those that don't know, Tom has written a book called Target Lean. You'll never ever see him push it. Although, there you go.
This is the first copy ever, because it's got the little thing saying not for resale. It's the first one that Amazon sent me as a proofread ever. I've got it on my desk all the time.
Right. Okay. Enough of the boring shit. So,
and there's our explicit content straight away. Well done. So, 10 seconds into the podcast.
What have you been up to, Tom?
Well, I don't know. How many weeks is it? 2 weeks since the last podcast. So not much.
I think it is. I think it's more 4 weeks. But
is it 4 weeks?
We can pretend.
Yeah, okay. All right, it's 4 weeks then. Just the normal stuff. The last one was in September, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean, to be fair, the main thing that I've been looking at is how the cost of living and the electric and gas prices are going to affect ministry. That's been one of my main focuses, because if you didn't know, I own a gym, and obviously we are massive consumers of electric and gas. So yeah, trying to figure out how we're going to do that. But I think we'll be okay. Just it's a worrying time for a lot of small businesses at the moment, and also obviously for our members as well. You know, so
I was going to say it's it's a worrying time for everybody. You know,
yeah, absolutely. It's and I think this has been felt across the board in the leisure industry. I know that other big gym chains who have things like jacuzzis and saunas and stuff like that have actually turned them off because they're such high consumers of electric, and also a lot of heated swimming pools are now not as heated. So everybody is feeling the pinch, even the big corporations. So yeah, see what happens there. I mean, we've been quite fortunate in ministry that over the years, because obviously I'm a small business, I have to look at the best ways to cut costs and keep the business, you know, viable. Is I've got every efficiency I possibly can in place. So I think we're just about there, you know. So yeah, but it's a worrying time for a lot of businesses.
And that's what we're going to talk about in the main a little bit later. We're going to do some gossipy stuff first, but we are going to talk about the cost of living crisis, because it is a crisis, and how you can both put on muscle by obviously eating in a surplus, and lose fat without it costing the earth, without you hiring a prep company.
We're going to be talking student bodybuilding.
yeah, student bodybuilding.
Student bodybuilding, student fat loss.
Yeah, so but we're gonna talk about a couple of things that are a little bit relevant at the moment. One of those being the recent Arnold Classic UK.
Wow, it was just the classic, wasn't it?
That's right, yes. And the reason for that is Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger decided not to come and to send a letter in his place. And
to meet people.
yeah, and the letter said pretty much the same as it did this time last year when he didn't come and he sent a letter in its place. And basically, he felt that the money that he was promised wasn't upcoming or didn't reach him in the right timings and whatever. So he said it wasn't viable, so he didn't bother coming over.
I think there were a number of things, weren't there, with that? There was, first of all, his fee wasn't paid, and to be fair, you know, if I was Arnold Schwarzenegger and I could command $1 million for just showing up to something, I think I'd want that money. You know, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if I was going to donate it to my charity, I would still want that money because the promoters are making big money off the back of it.
Apparently, what else stopped him coming over was that the pro show, they weren't getting the money that they were promised, and he paid that money. So the promoters didn't have the money or weren't going to pay the pros for attending and for showing and stuff like that. And he actually stepped up and paid that money. And that was one of the other reasons why he decided to give it a miss. And you never see that, though, do you? You never see that part. All you see is I didn't get enough money for, slopping my ass over the Atlantic, and therefore I'm a greedy multimillionaire. But apparently he did that, or his companies, or whatever, you know, his franchise paid for the pro bodybuilders like guests and the prize money for the show. But
this was last year, yeah.
This year, just gone.
Oh, was it this year? Was it?
Yeah. So apparently, he's not a, I don't know, old bodybuilder as many have been saying. I know. I
don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger is ever going to be skint, is he?
No, I don't. So that, you know, but the show itself was good. Apparently, I know quite a few people that went there, and I was really, really glad that my friend Josh Maley became a pro bodybuilder. And a fact that you may not know about Tom is that Josh won his first Class 1 Britain title the day that we did the Britain for Prep the Series.
I did not know that fact.
Yes. And I think he dominated the PCA and NABA, and then he's come along and in a short space of time, actually, has become an IFBB pro. So very, very similar to another good friend of the show and generally good person, Dean White.
Nice to see, like, in the last sort of 10 years or so, a lot of really good English bodybuilders. Like, I should say UK bodybuilders, not English as in ethnicity or anything, just UK bodybuilders coming up through, because it always used to be dominated by, you know, Americans. And now we are getting some really good UK bodybuilders come through and actually step on stage in the UK, in the international stage, and look awesome. Yeah.
You know, James Hollingshead, I think, is at the real forefront. And I
saw a video of him squatting like 8 plates or something ridiculous the other day. Just made my knees hurt.
I've met James a couple of times. The last time was in 2017 when we all went to Body Power, and I was chatting with him and Luke. And I went to his gym actually when it first opened.
Kings.
And yeah, brilliant gym. I could actually use the bigger weights back then. But again, James is a really nice guy. I think he's developed spectacularly. His physique is just blocks of muscle. I think he'll do. He placed third at the Arnold. Dean White, another one, doing the Portugal show. That he did the Portugal show and qualified for the to be a pro, and then won the pro show. So yeah, so there's no better way of doing that, is there? You actually enter the hotel that you're staying at in the morning or one day as an amateur, and then when you check out, you're actually a pro.
Oh
You
yeah.
know? So I know.
Around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Go.
So what we're going to do, main discussion today is basically how to bodybuild, because this is a bodybuilding, although we're both old and we don't do compared to bodybuilding anymore, this is a bodybuilding inspired podcast, and we still, both of our methods are coaching bodybuilding, not, as I say, we don't do massive prep anymore, but we are, the way we coach is bodybuilding, is living that lifestyle and making sure that you build a lot of muscle and keep a lean body in the same events. Yeah, is that the right word? I'm not sure. Yeah. But building muscle, losing body fat, looking leaner, that's what we promote, that's what we coach. So, and this has obviously become a little bit more difficult with the cost of food going up recently. Also, gym memberships have gone up slightly. I know my gym membership, as in the gym I own, I put those memberships up to allow us to, pay the bills, etc. And just everything's going up recently. So it is, it's not that the glory days when me and Paul were bodybuilding where you could get a kilo of chicken for £3. Now that's more like £7. So the cost of getting big or getting bigger is bigger. So we thought we would do a little bit on how to bodybuild on a budget. Weirdly, you don't see any more like coaches recommending like poached salmon and avocado, like bodybuilding meals anymore, do you?
No, it's
a little bit pricey, those ones now.
Yeah, not so much.
But yeah, so we thought we'd do that. And I suppose, and I have done a few videos on this on my reels on Instagram, if you're a reels person. So you can go and watch those if you want, because I do my cooking in bulk. Paul, do you just still do your stuff in bulk? Do you like bulk prep your food still?
I don't bulk prep it. I do bulk buy it. I do like use Booker's, same as Costco and stuff like that. Or I do buy it in. There's a couple out there I used the other month. Actually, I've still got 500-gram packs of steak and chicken in the freezer. Because the thing is, my day mostly revolves around me working at a desk. Yeah. On the odd times that I do go away, I do take food with me just for the drive. I don't do what I used to do, which is take food with me for the night time or whatever. Now that I'm not, I used to do that. I used to put chicken and meat and stuff like that hang it outside the window of the hotel room in a bag to keep it chilled. But I don't need to do that now, so I can benefit from room service, and I can have chips and things like that. And obviously I don't have to wear them. So, but I do take food with me when I travel, for the drive. And essentially I buy prep stuff so I can just come away from my desk. I do weigh it out still. And I am conscious in what I eat. The only thing I don't weigh out is Oreo biscuits.
What? So that's such a random thing.
Yeah, I know, but Oreo biscuits. So
you have like half a biscuit to make up your macros.
No, we don't do things in halves. I do the packet. I mean one.
I do the packet. One packet is one serving.
One serving, yeah. But yeah, so I don't really do that now, but I do buy in bulk to, so I've got some consistency in what I'm eating, sort of thing. Do you still prep?
I don't eat my Oreos in packets. No. I don't even unwrap them. I just down the packet.
Just down the packet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. I do bulk all my stuff because I'm still like hardcore. However, my meals aren't what you would call normal meals. So I every week I'll buy like a kilo of chicken and a kilo of steak mince.
Yeah.
And that actually makes up around about, I want to say 10 meals, give or take. Now, because I'm no longer bodybuilding for competition, 10 meals is enough to last me for the week, because I would have like,
right,
you know, two per day. My evening meal is normally like something I cook at home, because I'm pretty much at home every single night. Well, every night, because I'm not a wild party animal. But I have like I'll eat with Jacob some nights of the week, and some nights of the week I'll eat with Sam. So we have later eating if we don't have Jacob.
Yeah.
And I cook those meals. So we'll have things like salmon, or like burgers or steak or something like that. So I cook that up. Or if I was cooking one of my bulk prep meals, such as a chili or spaghetti bolognese or like chicken, I would cook that up, and then the rest I would save for another day. So and I basically just cook it all up, put it in Tupperware, and then just put it in the fridge and just reheat it. On the weekends, I've normally got one left over, but I don't eat a lot on the weekends. Normally we go out for lunch on a Sunday, and Saturdays sort of here and there. So I normally got one meal there, and then we have I think really we have like we have a fake away on a Saturday night. So we have like burgers and chips, which we cook ourselves. Or sometimes we'll have a takeaway, but actually we stopped. So I'll come back to it in a sec. We stopped having takeaways for months because we just couldn't bring ourselves to pay £15 per pizza. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we tend not to have them. But so the subject of this, although is the fact that you don't have to buy in bulk. You don't have to get prime, because what a lot of people don't do is use chicken thighs, dark meat.
I hate chicken thighs.
Pardon?
I hate chicken
thighs.
Do
you really?
I'm 100% a breast man.
I heard that.
And that's only because I don't do chicken asses. Because number one is that I'm an ass man, but definitely, you know, I don't like thighs. I just
really.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't like fatty meats. That's why I don't eat lamb. I don't eat duck.
I don't eat lamb or duck, but I do cook sometimes with obviously skinless and boneless thighs, and they do taste a little bit better because they don't get as dry.
I like the dryness of chicken breast.
Yeah, you know, obviously we're talking about being able to eat with sufficient protein to gain muscle or even to lose fat, you know, on a budget or with spending less, and thighs is an option.
So let's go there. So the difference between thighs and chicken breast is I would say not significant, but there is a difference. But the other thing as well is that because thighs are weighed with the bone in, I don't think there's that much difference in the amount of protein you would get per pound, as in per pound spent, because all the thighs you get will have the bone in and all the fat and everything else around them. Whereas a chicken, if you're buying like a kilo chicken breast, apart from some chuck offs, you're generally going to end up with about 850 grams of usable meat. The rest, like the gristle or whatever, you would cut off and throw away if you wanted to. But I don't think there's that much difference.
Okay.
And I don't like the fact that when I'm cooking a chicken thigh, which I don't ever do, is you've got to take the skin off, and then you've got to work around the bone when you're eating it. When I prep my chicken, I get all the chicken out in front of me. I chop off the little bone bits or whatever else that's there, and then literally all that gets cubed and chucked my pen everywhere, chucked in a frying pan.
Yeah.
And then I just cook it up. So it's super simple for me to, or I chuck it on the George Foreman. So it's super simple for me to do. So yeah, I know why people have chicken thighs, because like you said, you think they taste a bit better. I don't, because I don't like fatty type of meats.
Well, in general, fatty meats do taste a bit better because the fat gives it the flavor. That's why people tend to think ribeye tastes better than fillet, you know.
Yeah, I don't. I like fillet.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I'm not. You know, I would rather have chicken breasts and I would rather have fillet. But what I'm saying is there are options out there,
Yeah.
and you can get boneless and skinless thighs. And in general, they are a little bit cheaper. Only and I've noticed that lately the cost of chicken has gone right up.
Yeah, it's I bought I get my shopping delivered from Asda every week because I just can't stand walking around Asda. Just so many fucking weirdos.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would do that when I was on prep and love it.
You look like a half-dead zombie.
I would.
Having the chocolate.
It was the best time when I was being coached by Skip Hill in America, because Skip did
shit loading.
Yeah, Skip did a thing called skip loading. If you're listening to this and you don't know what skip loading is, do a search. But the basic principles are you eat in a larger deficit in the week, and then on one day in the weekends, you would have a time. So it starts out at about 4 hours, and then as you get leaner, you need more time.
Basically, eating disorder packaged up as a protocol.
Yeah. So you get more time to eat the aim is to eat more processed carbs, because the context behind it all is that when you reduce calories, your leptin levels and a lot of other hormones like thyroid and testosterone and stuff downgrade. And when they downgrade, your metabolism slows down. And to get leptin up and ghrelin down, ghrelin's the hunger hormone, to get leptin up, you need to include more carbs than anything else, because carbs is the only thing that really raises leptin. So when you have a surplus, you need it to be more processed carbs, to get that up really quick. You can't really do it with rice because you can't eat that as much as you need from rice. And so skip loading is that you would have a nominated time on the weekend, starts at 4 hours, and then the leaner you get, it expands out. And the thing is, when you write it all down, from what we all know, you would look at it and go, nah, that won't work. Because you're not tracking calories or anything like that. It's hours. That's it. But it does work. It got me a 3rd place at the Breton and a 7th place at the Universe. It does work. But every ounce of common sense in my body tells me it shouldn't work.
Yeah, but it is an eating disorder developing protocol, which is it's not great. I mean, and to be fair, most people did that sort of thing anyway. I would diet for 5 days and then absolutely smash the carbs and the muffins and
reward yourself.
Hey,
and then reward yourself
for being such a good dieter all the way through the week. So now I can eat all this shit.
Oh, no, I agree. Just the abuse your digestive system gets.
I remember once,
and like you said, it
when I did that sort of protocol, and I was working on the door in the evening, and I ate so much food, I felt really sick. And I was working on the it was like the VIP exit on the thing, and we closed the VIP exit. And I said to the guy I was working with, I said, I'm just going to wait here for a minute because I don't feel that great. Just gonna have a little sit down for a minute. He was like, yeah, sound okay. So he went upstairs, and I sat at the bottom of the exit, and I was like, fuck, I feel awful. And I opened the fire exit door and was just literally sick on the floor, and I was sick all over the floor. And I sat down on the exit with the door open with the air on me, thinking, oh, that's much better. I feel much better. And as I did that, a couple of people walked in over me, stepped over me, and walked up to the thing. I was like, I just can't get up and stop you.
No,
I'm just so smashed.
Yeah,
I just got the door, pretend I didn't see them.
Yeah, on average, I was doing 8 hours, but the most I ever did was something like 16. And people listening to this and thinking how bad they are when they're dieting, you can't actually eat for 16 hours. You know, essentially, even in the 4-hour thing, you would generally eat for 2 hours and then just be too bloated and too
Mate,
stuffed
I could eat for 16
anymore.
hours. I used to get up on, was it the Saturday morning? I used to get up on the Saturday morning at 6 to start eating, and then I would, because I was working on the door in the evening, and I'd be going to bed at 3 in the morning. Well, that was still technically Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So so I could have all my food for the day until I went to sleep. That was a cheat day.
Yeah, I remember starting it, and just the pain of the amount of food, you know, and then the whole premise was you would then go back to your pre-cheat weight quicker. So for the first few times, I would, let's say I would weigh 210 pounds on the Sunday morning, and then the cheat I would gain like 7 or 8 pounds, and I'd get back to 210 pounds on Thursday, and then I'd have 2 or 3 days to get under that, and I'd always be under it. But then as the prep went through and I got leaner and leaner, I was making the weight earlier. So I would do it on a Saturday and I'd make the weight by Tuesday morning. You know, and sometimes Monday.
Start again then.
Yeah, and then you just lose more. But what that would do is then the actual the time frame would then increase, so you could get more food in, and then it would nudge out again, and then come back and whatever. Yeah. And like I said, that I think the most I ever did was 16 or 18 hours. I know, and some people might remember this woman, a woman called Linda Garside. She became an IFBB pro. She hasn't competed for a long time. I think she lost the love for it all. But she was with Skip at the same time, and her metabolism was stupid. And I remember one time her getting 26 hours.
Wow. That's worth staying up for.
Yeah, I know. So
anyway, we were on a bit of tangent off topic then, didn't we?
Yeah.
So talking about I have to look at my notes then. Bodybuilding on a budget. So
yes.
Okay, so we got distracted because of the thighs versus chicken breast debate. So I think the real thing there is not so much the pennies you can save between chicken breast and chicken thighs, but thinking about different protein sources. So
yes.
Like for example, when I was a student and I was competing when I was a student, my diet would consist of tuna and pasta, and I used to make up every day something like 3 tins of tuna. I can't remember how much pasta it was, and then put some tomato and herb sauce in it and a bit of olive oil, and that covered all my macros. And I just literally ate that cold because I was in university. Ate that for it must have been a year. That was all I ate. All the weekend I'd have off, but that's all I ate during the year. However, I did gain some of my best size then, and I did. I had good training sessions. I obviously was doing something right because my muscles did grow, and I have, had decent training times and all that sort of stuff. So that did work, and I think that cost me. It'd be more now, obviously, but a couple of quid a day to do that protocol.
Really?
It wasn't a lot, because a tin of tuna is what? Well, it's about £1 something now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a tin of tuna, 185 gram tin of tuna, is about £1, and I think that's about 30 grams of protein you get in a tuna after you drained it off. So 30 grams of protein per tin. So I had 3 of those a day, plus I think it was something like 80 grams of pasta per thing. So 240 grams of pasta, and a pack of pasta is like £1, isn't it? Or it might be more now. So if you think about that, for under a £5, really, you're getting pretty much nearly all your day's nutrition in, and all you need then is your breakfast and your tea either side of that, and you've got your 5 meals plus a protein shake after training, and then you're okay.
Yeah, I think when I first came down to Plymouth, which was before I really started getting into bodybuilding, I was sort of into bodybuilding, but really I wasn't a bodybuilder. I was just someone that had started lifting a year or so earlier. I was in the Navy, and I remember times where I just couldn't get the food because I typical 18, 19-year-old who doesn't live with his parents, I would squander all my money within the first 5 days of getting paid. The one good thing about the Navy is you were given, no matter where you were given 3 squares, 3 square meals a day. And I remember in the morning just getting more eggs, be it boiled eggs or fried eggs or whatever, and eating bacon and stuff like that just to get the food in. And essentially, that's what, like you said, it is down to the protein source, but you do need protein. And if you can't afford chicken, or steak or whatever, then eggs are always a good thing. Cheese, nuts. You love
nuts are not a protein source. Don't you dare say that.
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that.
You're such a vegan.
But I was going to say a couple of more, and then you clipped onto the fact this was vegan.
Such a troll.
But eggs, beans, they're very good for.
But do you remember the advert that Heinz ran? And it was so retarded. It was like there was a guy. He come home from the gym, and he was making and both of these guys didn't look as if they lifted at all. But he come home from the gym, and he started making like his protein shake. Now, obviously, you and me and anybody listening to this know that making a protein shake is as easy as a couple of scoops in a shaker, shake it, drink it. Yeah. Or if you're going to be like posh, put it in a blender
and
20 seconds, neck it. So it literally takes 20 seconds, yeah, or to make this protein shake. So they had this elaborate thing where this guy was making up this blend with all this stuff in, and his mate was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm making up my protein shake for after the gym for my muscles or something like that." And then this guy started eating a plate of like beans on toast, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm eating my beans on toast to get my protein in." And it's just like, that's not the same.
No,
that's a retard advert.
Like, but he might have
led to people going out and buying beans, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get massive now."
Yeah, but he
not
might
massive
have had,
because the guy was tiny in the advert, but
he might have had cashew nuts as well.
Cashew nuts, yeah, another great protein source. Just.
But
you're spending too much time like around vegans or something, I think.
Yeah, I'm being poisoned. Yeah. There must be too many vegans that drive past the house.
Yeah, but the interesting fact is that corn has such a high amount of leucine. If you were to go buying corn flakes with some other protein source, you actually have a massive source of leucine.
Really?
Yeah. It's when I did the ISSN or IUPN it is now exam thing, there was a question, and it was in the discussion, in this group discussion, and it's like, you've got a vegan, so straight away I was like, vegan athlete, and this vegan athlete wants to hit their protein and carb sources, like hit their macros of protein and carb post workout. What would you suggest they do? Right? And the answers coming up were like, these people were like, a half a handful of acai beans, or acai, or whatever it's called, beans, something like that. Yeah, a sprinkling of them in spinach or something like that, half a ton of kale,
Or did you put roll up and die?
No, so there was all these massively long like ingredients list for all these blends and flex bowls, if you remember that stupid stuff that they said that this person should have. And I said, what are you trying to do here? The guy has just finished a workout. What's he want? He wants something simple. Cornflakes with vegan milk, and a vegan protein shake. There you are. That's, that's hit the macros.
Or some fillet steak.
Or some fillet steak, yeah, grass fed. And then everyone's like, oh no, it's got to be more complex than that. And actually, don't
you think that's the problem? Because you saying that will get me on my rant about guru type influencers that actually take something really simple, and there must be a class that you take where you can take something really simple and make it amazingly complicated, just so someone goes, well, if it's that complicated, it must work.
Yeah, and that's the problem, I think. I mean, there was a point story, but the problem is that people overcomplicate things. Like how can I get my macros in? How can I get my protein? And actually, let's look at it. Like, what foods will accommodate that? And like I said before, you don't see. Well, I don't anymore. Maybe because I unfollowed a load of. I was going to say dickheads then, but I've now said it. So yeah, I've unfollowed loads of dickheads off Instagram and stuff. But it just, you don't see these sort of overly complex meals that they've just made. Oh look, what I've just cooked up with my kitchen. And it's like crushed avocado and smoked salmon, which they caught themselves at the top of the waterfall, or all this sort of stuff. It's like, look at my awesome meal that I've made up. It's like, okay, yeah, that looks like a nice meal. However, that's not. It's not something that everyday person could cook up. Yeah, it's inspirational and influential and all that sort of Instagram crap, but it's not functional. It's not something which the normal everyday person go, oh, do you know what? Thanks for the tip. I'm going to try that. And everyday person look at it and go, I can't make that. I've got 3 kids. I've got they can't do it. But it's this pretentious thing about all my meals are freshly made and they're well fucking done you, where you've got nothing else to do other than flash your ass on Instagram or get your abs out on Instagram, do some flexing or some glute curls, and then get paid by a sponsor. Which, to be fair, if I was getting paid for that, I wouldn't argue either, because I'd have a free day.
Don't you do meal prep things on your Instagram?
Yes, and it's stuff that I actually eat and actually bulk prep. It's all stuff like that.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm not in.
Don't oppress me.
I'm just saying. Anywho,
so I mean, it's not anything that people can take away from and say, great, that's a good idea. Whereas, not saying I'm the most awesome person in the world, but the stuff I put on my, and I know I'm not, but
you're not. I'm just saying you're not.
Just saying, yeah, just in case.
Yeah, but, just in case you forgot, you're not.
Yeah, there is someone else in Indonesia who's better than me.
Yeah.
But there are things you can do which are both inspirational for people to use and also are functional. Practical, yeah, stuff that you can take away and go, do you know what? Cheers for the tip. And I'm just, it's when you see that sort of stuff, I'm like,
but you can always tell them to buy one of the high protein Kit Kats.
High protein Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or the high protein Weetabix. The high protein Weetabix has 5 grams more protein than Weetabix.
Yeah, and it's gluten protein as well. It's not actually
per serving.
Yeah, it's just gluten protein.
And that's the thing. It's when you look at like what a serving is, you're like, that's a mouthful. That's not a serving. That's a mouthful.
Bodybuilding Weetabix serving is 6 bisques, or if you have any less than 6, you're just some sort of no gains wanker, aren't you? I used to have a Tupperware that I specifically bought because it could fit 6 Weetabix lying down, so that I could put my little bit of milk over it and then put my sweetener and eat that on my desk.
Yeah, I love it when people go, I have Weetabix. Right, okay, and I have semi-skim milk, and then I have a little bit of sugar on the top. And when you see it, it's like the Andes,
It's like Scarface. It's that Scarface sugar mountain. Just cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But also, the advert about it's not. It's shredded wheat, isn't it? Shredded wheat is who's been eating 3. But imagine if Weetabix did that
They do.
Who's been eating 3 Weetabix, and then you've got like some massive guy at the end who's eating 6.
They do a Weetabix thing now that basically they do a bit of a rhyme and stuff, and it's like, I've had my Weetabix, and then everybody's scared of them or something.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same context.
Only because of the farts.
Yeah,
It can be pretty vicious.
But you can, with Weetabix, you can add superfoods.
How can you? I saw something the other day with Weetabix and beans.
Yeah.
What the hell's that about?
I saw that they spoke to consumers on how you have your Weetabix. One has Weetabix with beans. Someone's gone, oh, I know what'll get me noticed. I have them with beans because of the protein source.
Why don't you just lock those people up? They're obviously serial killers.
They're vegans, so
I think actually baked beans. I'm not sure if they are vegan. I think there's something in them which makes them not. You have to have special vegan baked beans. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they have to have proper vegan baked beans.
What's meaty and alive in beans?
I don't know, but I have seen vegan baked beans.
It might be. Right. The red sauce is from the blood of screaming children calves.
What? Is that where the protein comes from?
Yeah, from the calves of the mothers that are not vegan.
Yeah, I feel as though we've gone some way off on a tangent here again. We have to rein it back in.
Yeah, but I think that gives us our best stuff. So
where do we get to anyway? We're talking about like
I know.
Overcomplicate stuff like that. Yeah. So we were saying about the obviously cost of food and stuff like that, but not overcomplicating things. Like you don't have to get, look, for example, salmon. Salmon is strangely not as hasn't increased in price as much as chicken.
No, it hasn't. No.
Weird. But salmon is actually the omega-3s you get from salmon is not that great anymore, unless it's wild farmed Alaskan salmon or whatever. If it's farmed salmon, I'm pretty sure, because this is a long time ago since I read this study, but I'm pretty sure that farmed has less omega-3s per gram.
Do you know why that is?
I was going to try and think of a funny answer, but I can't think of one.
The reason why they've got less, and the reason why they're not as pink, naturally, when you look at farmed salmon, naturally, not in the shop, but naturally, the actual meat is a lot darker. And the reason for that is the feed that they give it, the food.
And don't they dye?
They dye, and then they dye they dye the meat to make it look pink. That's why, like fresh river salmon and Atlantic salmon and stuff like that is a deeper color.
Atlantic salmon isn't salmon a freshwater fish? I would be suspicious about any salmon caught in the sea.
It's not in the sea.
I went on a trawler and look at all the salmon I caught.
Yeah, look at all the salmon. It's like finding trout in the sea. But you can tell because of that. And that's why the omega ratio, the amount is not as good in farmed salmon. And they don't obviously advertise it too much. They've got to say on it if it's freshwater or if it's farmed. But you can see in the ingredients. Yeah.
So obviously, we're not saying don't go out and eat salmon, because it is good to eat salmon.
In fact, do, because But I'll tell you what. Sorry, I'll tell you one of the best ways to save money on all meats is to buy frozen.
Yes. I think I went through 1 year bodybuilding where I was absolutely skint. And all I bought was frozen tilapia. And remember,
American? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, and orange roughy. No,
did Dutch Francis give you that diet?
So tilapia used to be able to buy in Iceland really cheaply. Now I know it's a bit of a cliche thing, bodybuilding tilapia and everything else, but actually tilapia is a really, really nice fish. It's a more meaty fish. It's like swordfish. If you ever had swordfish, it's quite like that. It's quite it's a more meaty texture to it, and it's really versatile. And I used to be able to buy frozen tilapia for pennies. Really, really cheap. And all you had to do was just get it out and just stick it in the steamer for 20 minutes.
I think you can buy anything for pennies.
Just a lot of them.
Yeah, but still pennies.
Yeah. So Iceland used to do tilapia. So 1 year, all I ate was pretty much all I ate was frozen tilapia.
Your skin must have been transparent.
Yes, because it is a skin thinning fish as well, isn't it?
Right. But anybody who knows anything listening to this podcast or watching us will know that is the magical clue that you find out when you turn pro from amateur.
That's why bodybuilders all used to eat salmon in the 1990s and 2000s, isn't it? Because it thins the skin.
Yeah, amazing.
And
I remember
water longer.
I remember again in the earlier years buying square frozen pieces of cod. It's now called pollock, but it used to be, back then it used to be cod. It's now pollock because that's a cheaper fish. But I used to get it from Iceland or whatever, and you would buy it in like 3 or 4 blocks, like ice blocks sort of thing, that you would just cook in hot water and have it with, what did I have it with?
Broccoli.
Green beans, broccoli, yeah.
So and then tasty meal that would have been.
Yeah, and then you would be able to eat things that as exquisite as rice cakes. So you would have
fish and a rice cake,
rice cakes, and white fish.
Oh God, fish! And then for lunch, I have fish and a rice cake.
Yeah,
tea, fish.
Yeah,
and another.
For anybody, for all our younger viewers, you probably don't know this, but there used to be there was a bodybuilding documentary once, and it filmed a kid in Cumbria actually, that basically his diet was literally white fish and rice cakes, but when he actually said it on the film, on the documentary, he was as if he was trying to remember what he had for his next meal, and he was like, so I had fish,
always a rice cake,
and rice cakes, and then my next meal I had fish and rice cakes, then my next meal I had
fish, pause, wasn't it?
Rice cakes, yeah. And then there was a thing years past that when his picture came out that he'd actually built a decent physique.
He's a tank,
right? Yeah. So
all on fish and rice cakes. So there's
all on fish and rice cakes, and cool. and you could just go straight past that and just buy fish cakes.
Oh, I hate fish cakes. Okay, so the other I don't know actually if they. I don't think it is still cheaper, but it used to be quite cheap to buy turkey mince. And again, in my budgeting stages, I used to buy about.
I used to make chilies out of it.
Yeah, I didn't go to that thing because I was still very hardcore. So I used to buy. I think
raw. Raw.
Yeah, a kilo of turkey mince. And I would make that into burgers. So make 8 turkey burgers. So it basically was turkey mince chucked in a pan, 1 egg white, some chili sauce, some peri peri, a bit of spice in that, and I think a bit of garlic. I'm not sure, but anyway, just used to mix it all up, and then from that I would just make out 8 burgers and then stick it on the George Foreman, and that would be my protein for the next day. And of course, I'd eat that cold with broccoli, and I ate that all the time I was working in Cardiff.
Did you put cider vinegar on your broccoli?
I didn't put cider vinegar. No, I used to drink cider vinegar by the bottle. Yeah, every day.
Obviously.
Yeah. Don't do that. It's not helpful for fat loss.
Although there are people on Instagram that say to do that.
Yeah. Do you know actually the one study that showed weight loss from using apple cider vinegar? Do you know what's interesting about that study?
It doesn't exist?
No, it does exist. People did lose weight from eating from drinking apple cider vinegar. But do you know what's interesting about that study? The weight they lost was muscle mass.
Was it?
They had less. They measured body composition. There was less muscle mass, as in body composition, percentage of muscle to fat ratio at the end than there was at the beginning. So they actually lost muscle mass as a percentage of their body through using apple cider vinegar.
I love it when I see what you get is you get clients. You don't get many coaches saying it, but what you do is you get clients going, "God, yeah, and I didn't realize that I would love apple cider vinegar as much as I do. Now I'm with blah blah blah," and I'm like,
"Now I'm forced to take it 10 times a day."
Actually tells you, because wasn't it shown in the study that if you take apple cider vinegar at night, then your glucose level in the morning would be lower, because they did it with diabetics.
Yeah, but that's irrespective of weight loss. I think, and I don't know that study, but that would follow. But the thing about what apple cider vinegar is good for is digestion. And if you have issues with your digestion, irritable bowel, I think, not too sure on that, having apple cider vinegar can help. And actually, again, when I was in my early years, I used to have a bit of chicken breast, and I used to have a salad with it. And the salad had a bit of rice on it. So it's like rice, cucumber, tomato, and it's all mixed in because there's a cold rice salad. And I used to put a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar on that for that reason. And that was surprisingly nice.
Have you just said that because you know that there are people out there that know you've used apple cider vinegar, and they would leak that to the press to come out and say that you've said something that's incorrect because you used to be a believer?
No, I use apple cider vinegar for the digestion effects, not for the fat loss effects, which there are none. So that's why I didn't use.
There are none. Yes,
yeah.
There are none.
Yeah,
but yeah. So but you do get the impression when clients say that they've actually been told no, apple cider vinegar, and I can guarantee that Miss Trini, who's a bikini athlete, didn't use apple cider vinegar because she's got bad guts.
Wow, that's debatable.
Yeah, that one.
That's subject of scrutiny.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on the hour.
I think we are, Matt, and that would mean only one thing.
Enough. Sorry?
That would mean only one thing.
It's been an hour?
Yeah, and it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually accomplished our task. We're talking about bodybuilding on a budget.
Yeah, I don't think we
memory
did.
Lane moments there.
Yeah, I think we were stuck in our the younger years far too much then.
Like Happy Days, watching an episode of Happy Days.
Right. All right. For the final message then, bodybuilding on a budget, steal food. It's really cheap.
Yeah, like Sam does to me all the time, stealing my food off my plate when I'm not looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So okay. Right, thanks for the discussion, Paul. And I hope everybody who listened to this actually got something valuable from it. If you did, please send Paul a message. And
if you didn't, please send Tom a message.
Yeah, please send me a message. Yeah, and I'll forward it on to Paul.
And for all of you guys out there who want to unfollow Tom, just follow me.
Yeah, okay. That's not gonna improve their life, but you can do that if you want to. Paul, quickly, your coaching Instagram.
My coaching Instagram is Team PSCAB. My website is teampeacecarb.co.uk. You can jump on there and book a consultation call with me. And don't forget schoolsandstuff.co.uk.
Okay. And my Instagram is TomBlackman_nutrition. YouTube is Tom Blackman. And website, you can go on that if you want, bknutrition.com. Lots of free tools and stuff to help you there, including some free workouts, which might help you. Paul, thanks very much for your time.
No problem.
And anybody listening to this, thank you very much for your time as well. We'll be back probably within the next 6 months, sometime with a podcast. Thank you very much. And Paul, I'll see you next time.
Bye for now.